Peace, y'all. This is Ahshay. Welcome to Asè'Underground. Today I'm going to get into Saturn. I wore black today to represent, the Saturn energy. I got my little wisdom hair poking out. Hey. I earned it, so I'm gonna show it off a little bit sometimes. And yeah, so let's get into this. Saturn is a malefic planet, guys, okay? And people don't always like what they see when it comes up in tarot, right? Because the devil card is the ruler of Saturn because it represents Capricorn, Saturn, delays, bondage, right? We got a Baphomet here. Baphomet is not the devil, guys. Look up Baphomet. It's symbology, masculine, feminine, as above, so below. You see he's pointing up and he's pointing down, right? And Baphomet is also, I'll do a video on Baphomet. We need to talk about Baphomet. We need to get educated about Baphomet, okay? Yeah, so, and there's nothing wrong with that. But this just represents that basically if you look through your challenges, right? Because say your Saturn is actually in Capricorn in your birth chart. So if you actually go through your challenges and you face your challenges head on when it comes to work and responsibility, the reward is great. So Saturn brings great delay, but also great reward. Same thing with Libra, this Three of Swords here, okay? You face this heartbreak head on, right? Then there could be great reward. Again, if your Saturn is in Libra, check your birth chart. Great reward in material wealth, love, you know, that Libra Venus energy, okay? So even though, like, say you could be delayed in love all your 20s, maybe through your early 30s, and then have the love of a lifetime later in life, have the riches of that people dream of later in life, And the cool thing, this isn't cool, right? But learning about Saturn helps us, I believe it helps us understand that there are setbacks and difficulties in everyone's life in different ways. Like Aries and Saturn, that's someone with a lot of health issues, okay? They could deal with diabetes. You have to be very careful with Aries and Saturn that you restrict sugar, you have restrictions on your diet. Someone with Saturn and Pisces like me, that could delay you from reaching your inner guru. It could delay you from reaching certain heights in your spiritual practice. But again, when you face these challenges and these delays head on, the reward is so much greater, unless you have like a retrograde in your Saturn or something like that. So when we understand the astrology and how to look at Saturn in people's like natal charts, then we're able to really look at the cards and kind of see that through the cards, right? So yeah, Saturn in Libra, Saturn in Capricorn, we have the World card, and the World card is completion. It's a beautiful card to get, completion, graduation. This ring here, they say that this ring represents the rings of Saturn as well. And that the thing about this is it's maintenance, right? So say you get a home. You have to maintain that home with a mortgage. You have to make, I hope I'm not covering up the mic, but you have to maintain that home with a mortgage. You have to maintain that car. If you get a nice car, you have to keep it up, and that's another thing that the World card could represent. So it's restriction in that way, where it just brings you more responsibility, okay? Grandfather energy, grandfather time, okay? Because it's going to delay things when Saturn feels like you're not ready for something yet, right? So you're not ready for that responsibility. You have not learned the challenges that it takes to maintain this reward. Okay, the rewards have to be maintained. And that's what the World card is teaching us there, right? So 8 of Cups is Saturn in Pisces. I think I just talked about Saturn in Pisces, where like your inner spiritual guru. And so this is somebody walking away, right? And maybe they're walking away to go on to their own path, learn more about themselves, maybe go on a hike and learn more about themselves. Some people say like find yourself. Take that however you want it to resonate. I know everybody doesn't like those type of terms, and that's fine. But just take time for yourself and move to a place where it's more in alignment with you, right? So, and the thing about Saturn and Jupiter, because Pisces is that Jupiter energy and Sagittarius is that Jupiter energy as well, which we're going to get into with 10 of Wands. Am I right about that? Let me check my notes, y'all. I don't want to give you guys any wrong information here. But 10 of Wands is... Yeah, 10 of Wands is Sagittarius. So Sagittarius and Pisces both have that Jupiter energy. So you can check the Jupiter video out to learn more about Jupiterian energy, right? So the thing about Jupiter and Saturn is that they're both gurus, right? They're both gurus in their own right. So they have respect for each other, but they don't necessarily, they're not friends, okay? It's not like Saturn and Mercury, right? So keep that in mind, right? The guru energy can give you a lot of beautiful things, a lot of beautiful reward after you go past your hurdles, but you do have to face your hurdles head on, straight up, okay? So yeah, and with Sagittarius, like that Sagittarius and Jupiter makes you morally and ethically just on the nose, just a straight up stand up person. That's why King of Wands is Jupiter and Sagittarius, right? He's going to give and make sure the people have and have so much joy in doing that. Tyra Banks isn't a good example, but we can see Tyra Banks as like the shadow side of a Sagittarius and Jupiter. But if you look on like the positive side and everything that she was trying to bring to the girls before things got dark, right? You could think of a King of Wands like that, super excited, super exuberant, going out there, meeting a lot of people, meeting tons of contestants, right? Before maybe flipping over and getting a little controlling or a little dark or shadowy, right? And with the 10 of Wands, we see that Saturn is going to restrict you in a way to where you have to face your moral and ethical beliefs head on. How much can you really bear? Can you bear it but still stay ethical, still stay moral, still learn how to be in alignment with that Sagittarius and Jupiter energy, okay? So yeah. Let's get into 7 of Pentacles here, okay? So 7 of Pentacles. 5 of Wands is Saturn in Leo, but 7 of Pentacles is Saturn in Taurus. So this is, you're planting your crops and nothing's really growing. You're tilling the soil, planting your crops, putting in the effort. Nothing's growing. Nothing's coming out of it, all right? But if you can get past that restriction, past that delay, again, the reward is really, really great for someone with a Saturn in Taurus, because just like Libra, that's Venus energy. So we're talking about a lot of material wealth if you can get past that 7 of Pentacles energy and not give up. Now, 5 of Wands, Leo. This Leo energy right here. Now, if you listen to the video, right, that Ryan does where he goes through all the house, he doesn't bring up the tarot, right? This is where I had to kind of like merge the information because he doesn't talk about tarot. He just talks about astrology, right? But the Leo it's said that the sun is friends with everyone. But then there's also a saying that Saturn's shadow, even Saturn's shadow, can dim the sun. That's crazy, right? Let me make sure I'm getting this right. Because that is such a crazy, quarrels and misunderstandings, narrow-mindedness, everyone focused on their own agenda, no discipline, a lack of progress. It could also be a dual routine interrupted or pushing boundaries. I like that, dual routine interrupted. So if I got this by like the devil card, I said, I could say that, your routine is being interrupted, and I really like that interpretation. But yeah, it is said, I guess I didn't write it down, but it is said that even the shadow of Saturn can dim the sun, which is crazy, or can cast over the sun. And so that's what's happening here with Saturn and Leo, So These are people that are very expressive about their misunderstandings or, you know, the quarrels and the fights. A good Saturn and Leo example are my kids, right? Because that fifth house energy rules kids, playgrounds, fairs, family, you know. And when my kids get in a quarrel, when my kids get in a fight, yeah. And it could be over the most pettiest thing, right? Like my blanket, you know what I'm saying? My kids could get into it over that. And yeah, so that's that Saturn 5 of Wands energy. Okay, so I think we hit everything with the tarot. I didn't get into the court cards. I think I'm gonna do a separate video on the court cards, guys, just so we can all be in alignment with that. All right. But let's get into the karmas really quick. I only got about 3 more minutes. So in Jupiter, I talked about how that's your everyday to day. Like if you see a homeless man on your way to work and you give him food, right? That is helping your Jupiter karma. But Saturn is to seek out. So it's when you plan a trip to the homeless shelter. You plan to make a soup kitchen. You plan to go to an orphanage. I was literally just watching Annie the other day. Big Jupiter energy in Annie's life, right? Because Jupiter answers our prayers that to those who are really in need. Annie was truly in need as an orphan, and her prayer was met because she got to live and become the daughter of Warren Warbucks, who was a billionaire. And she got to live in his house during Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Huge Jupiter miracle blessing. But it helped his Saturn karma. And you can see in the movie that his Saturn, he was having issues and he was having delays with his factories and stuff, which also brought up Saturn energy in the movie. And so when Annie comes in and he's helping her out as an orphan, it's healing his karma in Saturn, which he doesn't know, right? But yeah, that's what's going on. So whatever delay he had in Capricorn was able to smooth its way out in the end with that. Okay. See, another way for you guys, I want to make sure I hit these points because it's really, really challenging yourself. Okay. Putting challenges in front of you, having a list of things that you don't want to do but need to get done and getting them done, having a list of things to do outside of the public eye that isn't going to get you any recognition and teach you humility is going to heal a lot of Saturn karma. So patience with the list of things you don't want to get done, like when you don't want to sit on the phone and figure out how to pay a bill or do something with your taxes because you know it's going to take a long time, having the patience to do that. We already talked about humility, okay? Improving your Ayurvedic lifestyle, especially if you have Saturn in Aries, okay? Restricting sugars and things like that in your diet is super important with your Mars placements, okay? Those people who have Saturn in a Mars astrological sign, Saturn or Scorpio. So I'm running out of time here. All right. I hope that gave you some of the life force rejuvenation and paradigm shift that you needed for your journey. You can also feed a black cat or a black bird because black, blues, and purples rule Saturn as well. Okay. So these are just some things. Look at the video below to learn more and expand your view on Saturn. These are just some quick study notes. I love you guys so much and I can't wait to bring you guys more information. Peace.